So we had an opportunity to actually see an extraordinary example of presence from somebody in this room, actually, right? And does everyone remember this wonderful couple? Right, it was extraordinary. And did you notice how present he was? And it was amazing, and she just melted into his arms without a word. There was absolutely nothing that needed to be said, and that could happen. Now, it could have potentially been harder if she was yelling at you. That's okay.
I just don't want people to think.
No, not you.
Yeah.
So as an example, Annie doesn't yell. She doesn't access anger very often. In fact, one time in the last 3.5 years. I royally fucked up on that day. And I was like, oh shit, I will never do that again, right? It's sad. Sad is so much harder. And she starts crying, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, I'm not mad, I just get to realize she is scared to death in that moment. And so now, because I know that, I'm just with her, right? And it's really hard to be present. So I want to make sure we practice that also, because what you did is beautiful. You melted her, and now I want you to bring to your head for a second that she's in front of you, and her heart's broken. And she's devastated because you forgot to order coffee. Oh, obviously I'm making something up, but I'm making it ridiculous, right? Because it wasn't about the coffee, right? It was because the coffee was a symbol of you care about me enough to remember what I needed. Do you notice the heads? Right? That they're bobbing up and down. It's not the coffee. It wasn't about the trash that didn't get taken out, even though us guys were like, oh my God, she's gonna be so happy. I cleaned the whole house. I went upstairs, I vacuumed, I got this maid to come in, they scrubbed everything, and she walks in and says, what about the trash? It happens, yes?
Oh, yes.
It's not about the trash.
No,
It's this one thing. So, quick story. I shared about Stephanie. I didn't have presence. But I did want to heal this relationship because we have 3 kids together. I said, well, what's been missing? I wanted to really deeply understand that. And so I went through this training with Annie. It's an emotional intelligence training. And in this training, we practiced a little game called feedback. It was intense. It was extremely intense, hearing from people that I don't even know how I show up in the world. And they've experienced me for all of maybe, this is day 5? Yeah, maybe 20 minutes, where I was asked a question and I shared a response, and then they're giving this feedback. And I thought, Jesus. And I was tearing up. Like, I had this one guy on this one response. It was actually my cousin, because he knows my relationship with my son, and he knew what I was feeling inside. And so he said a word that just tore me to shreds. It was intense. And then I'm supposed to go get feedback from someone else in my life. And so I said, okay, well, it can't be worse than that. So I'm going to go have feedback from Stephanie. And so I called her up and said, hey, can I come over? Can I talk? Yes. And when I get there, I said, can we go stand outside? And this is like middle of August in Vegas. So it's slightly warm. It's like 110. So we're going to go outside. And I'm thinking, okay, so give me like 10 minutes of feedback, right? And it'll be done. And like I can go home. I can do my thing. I said, would you do me the favor? Like, we've known each other my whole life, pretty much, right? We met when we were 19. We got married at I was 21. Would you please do me the honor and a favor of just sharing with me all the things that I did wrong, that didn't work in our relationship for the last 20 years? And my male brain is like, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I mean, we're done, right? It'll be easy. Like, this will be great. And all my job was to be present with her and just feel what she's feeling. And I was only allowed to say, thank you. Is there more? Okay. So took a little bit to get her started, right? and kind of warming up, and she's sharing this feedback, and it's like this slow roll. It's still pretty uncomfortable, and I'm like, God, I was that big of an asshole. And we get about an hour into this, and I'm just like, I'm present, right? And I'm just with her, feeling her. And I was actually very shocked I could do that, because I wasn't making it about me in that moment. But she ran out of gas after an hour, and I'm like, thank God. And I said, thank you. Is there more? She's like, well, no, there's like this one other small thing. And she went for another fucking hour, Mo. It was another hour just laying into me. I was okay. And I'm sweating. It wasn't because it was hot. And she gets done. I said, okay, thank you. Is there more? It was like just one thing I didn't share. She went for another hour. And she got out 20 years of frustration, 20 years of pain, 20 years of emotion that I had never connected with. And in this moment, I wasn't feeling bad about me. It wasn't about me. It was about all these emotions that she had kept pent up because she was so unheard. And she wasn't even safe to share. She sure as hell wasn't seen. Wonder why we didn't have a great relationship, right? That's your warning right now, is that's what can happen really quickly when we don't hear each other. Now where are we at? So that was the beginning of healing the relationship. And my vision at the time that I kept declaring, I declared it every single day, this will be a blended family. We will travel together. We'll have Christmas together. I got 3 kids. And she doesn't want to be in the same room as Annie. That bitch took my husband. What's her story? Fuck her. And I'm like, yeah, but we're going to travel together. You're insane, right? There was not a connection there. They hadn't even met. So kept working at it, and our relationship got better and better and better until she actually went to the same training I went to, this emotional intelligence training. And on the 4th day of this training, I was there for her in this special moment, and it's over this one weekend. I was on a Sunday night, and when she opened her eyes, and I was standing there, and she apologized to me for how she showed up in our 20-year marriage. My daughter was there with me, holding her hand. Annie was in the room. She's on the opposite side. She's like hidden. Steph knew she was there. We don't go anywhere without each other. She looked down at my daughter, 7. Loves both of them. Can you introduce me to Annie? She walked across the room and embraced Annie. First time they met, they hugged. That's the power of presence, is it's healing. When we aren't present, we're causing damage. When we are present, we're causing healing. Who's in control of being present? Yes, 100%.